in the next few minutes.
Let's return now to the news that the number of complaints against doctors has risen by nearly a quarter over the past year.
Last year there were nearly 8,800 complaints made in the UK. Professor Clare Gerada is the chair of the Royal College of General Practitioners, and she joins us from our Westminster studio. Professor, thank you very much for joining us this morning. It doesn't sound very good for GPs when you see so many complaints being made, but apparently this increase is not just restricted to the UK.
Well, I don't know about figures overseas, but I do know that when you see such a rapid increase, such a sudden change, it's unlikely to be the fact that doctors have become less caring or less competent, and there's clearly other factors that are in play here.
Yeah, well, one of the factors being that almost half the complaints made about GPs. So what's going wrong? I mean, we've heard this morning the GMC saying it's not about medical care falling, but patients are clearly upset, worried and complaining about the treatment they are getting from their local doctor.
Well, as I said, I think it's unlikely with this dramatic change to be just doctor factors. I think you have to look at the fact that the threshold for complaints has dropped, and rightly so. People are encouraged to raise concerns, and we have a culture of complaining all round. Just think about all the encouragement that we have to complain about all of our services. And also I think there are expectations about care, rightly so, but I think we're expecting to have it at any time, any place, anywhere.
But okay, so that sounds a little bit, to anybody who has made a complaint about a doctor, as if you might be passing the blame onto the patient and suggesting that they are getting more vocal in their complaint or being encouraged to, rather than taking on the fact that so many complaints have been made, which is clearly a cause of concern.
Well, actually, if you look at the number of complaints that then go on to a serious public hearing, that number has actually dropped. So I'm not blaming the patient, but equally I'm saying that there are complex factors in play, and it may well be that the GP at the frontline care is the brunt of that. The GP is at the brunt of actually saying, you can't have this treatment, you do have to wait. I'm not saying that there aren't GPs who aren't rude. Of course there are. I mean, you know, unfortunately there are a number who argue with patients, who fail to apologise when they make an error, and that has to be stopped. But I'm saying in the context of this massive increase, we have to look beyond just the obvious, which is doctors have changed, because I suspect doctors haven't changed that much.
Do you think GPs then need to have a look at the way they operate and relate to their patients as a result of this?
Well, we always do. I mean, we're trained. Our tool is our communication. Our tool is listening to patients.
Right, but sorry, with respect, if I might interrupt, if you always do, then surely you need to do more, because the number of complaints has gone up so significantly.
Well, again, I want to repeat, the number of complaints has significantly increased, but I think it's complex factors in play. Of course we have to improve. Of course we continuously improve. And the flip of this is that if we look at the British the survey yesterday, which actually showed that satisfaction and trust in the NHS has dropped, we know when people are dissatisfied, they tend to complain more. So I'm not making excuses for doctors, of course I'm not, and I'm not blaming the patient. I'm just saying it's a complex interaction between the ability to complain, the doctor-patient relationship, and other much wider societal factors.
So what do you take from this? I mean, people listening, patients will think, goodness me, you know, what's going wrong with the standard of care, with the way that GPs are talking to their patients, other doctors are talking to their patients. But what do the GPs take from it? Do they just say, oh, well, complaints on the increase, they're always going to complain? Or is there something to change?
Well, any complaint causes a mistrust between the doctor and the patient and the doctor, and it's devastating. It's devastating to receive a complaint from a patient. I've received complaints. It is actually the worst thing that can happen to you professionally, and of course we take it seriously. And at the end of this year, we're going through revalidation, where we have to demonstrate to patients and the public that we've kept up to date, and we have to document our complaints. And of course we take it. We tend to go through our practice. All GPs, when they get a complaint, will go through their practice, will discuss it with their peers, their managers, will discuss it with the PCT. And of course we want to constantly improve. But we have to take this in the context, as I've said, when you have a 25% increase in something, it is unlikely to be just one single issue.
All right, Professor Clare Gerada, Chair of the Royal College of General Practitioners, thank you very much.
Thank you.
17 minutes past 7. If you have a view on that story, or maybe you have been involved either as a GP or as another doctor or as a patient, do get in touch with us this morning.
Also this morning, looking at the new